Welcome to the Podkey summary of Create Live Communication Experiences from WWDC 2026. Today's big theme is Apple's newer Live Communication Kit and why it's quickly becoming the thing real-time communication apps need to move to. The interesting part isn't just that it replaces older call APIs, it changes how calls show up across the system, how apps describe conversations, and how much of the call experience can stay in sync without a lot of duplicated glue code. There are also some very practical gotchas here, especially around VoIP push timing, call merging, and making sure features like Recents and Siri actually work the way users expect. LiveCommunicationKit is the successor to the older CX provider approach, and the pitch is pretty straightforward. It gives communication apps a more flexible, more capable system for handling live conversations. A big reason developers are being pushed to adopt it now is system integration. LiveCommunicationKit can plug into places like the lock screen and the dynamic island in ways CX provider just can't. That matters because for users, a call app doesn't really feel native unless it behaves like part of the phone. People expect controls to show up in the right place at the right moment without having to hunt around inside the app. At the center of this whole thing is the conversation object model, and it's built around two main ideas: handles and capabilities. Handles are how participants are identified. Each one has a kind like phone, email, or generic, plus a value and a display name. That structure lets the system do useful things with very little guesswork. It can match a contact if one exists, and if it doesn't, it can still present a name and avatar in a way that feels complete instead of weirdly blank. Capabilities are the other half. They describe what the conversation can actually do, whether that's audio, video, pausing, or merging. What's nice here is that the system UI only shows controls for capabilities the app has declared. So if a conversation supports video, you get a video button. If pausing is available, the related controls can appear too. That sounds simple, but it's a clean design choice. The UI reflects the real state of the call, instead of dumping every possible button on screen and hoping some of them make sense. And those capabilities can change during the conversation. If a call starts as audio only and then gets upgraded to video, the interface can add the video control right away without restarting the conversation. That kind of live update is exactly the sort of thing users barely notice when it works and absolutely notice when it doesn't. One of the sharper edges in this setup is VoIP push handling through PushKit. When a VoIP push arrives, the app has to report the new conversation to the conversation manager before the delegate method returns. If it doesn't, the system will terminate the app. So there really isn't time for a leisurely tour through your networking stack. The app needs to do the minimum parsing needed, report the conversation immediately, and push any heavier setup into async work afterward. It's one of those rules that sounds harsh until you remember what the system is trying to protect. A fast, reliable incoming call experience that doesn't hang while the app gets its life together. LiveCommunicationKit also gives a clearer conversation lifecycle. Idle, ringing, joining, joined, leaving, and left. Those states aren't just labels for developers. They map directly to what the user should be seeing, like a connecting state during joining, or an ended state after leaving. Once a conversation is in the joined state, route changes come through there as well. So if someone switches to AirPods mid-call, the app can reconfigure its capture pipeline without breaking the flow of the system UI. That's the kind of behind-the-scenes housekeeping that keeps a call feeling stable, even when the hardware path changes under it. Another design choice that stands out is the single-action delegate pattern. All the system-initiated interactions, accepting, pausing, ending, merging, all come through one delegate callback. That gives the app one source of truth for state management, which is a lot healthier than scattering logic across separate handlers and hoping they all stay in sync. When call state is split up too many ways, the app and the system UI can drift apart. You end up with the software equivalent of two people telling the same story differently at dinner. For apps that support group communication, merging is a notable addition. LiveCommunicationKit can let two active conversations be combined into a single group conversation while preserving media streams and participant lists. When the merge action comes in, it includes the UUIDs for both conversations. The app has to confirm both exist, combine the streams on the server side, update the membership, and then fulfill the action. If that chain breaks, the system treats the merge as failed. So it's powerful, but it's not magic. The app still has to do the real coordination work. There's also a usability layer here that goes beyond the active call itself. Apps can opt into Recents and donate start call intents, so users can redial from Spotlight, the phone app, or Siri. And that can still work even if the app has been terminated, which is exactly the kind of convenience people expect from a serious calling app. The catch is that handles have to be stable. Phone numbers and email addresses work well for this. Temporary tokens do not. If an app relies on transient identifiers, the Recents link breaks, and the whole experience gets flaky in a hurry. It's a small implementation detail with very visible consequences. So the headline here is that LiveCommunicationKit isn't just a new wrapper around calling features. It's a more system-aware model for describing conversations, exposing the right controls, and keeping app state aligned with what the user sees. The migration brings better integration, but it also asks developers to be disciplined, especially around push timing and state management. Clean architecture suddenly stops being a nice bonus and starts looking like survival gear. This episode was generated by PodKey. Create your own at podkey.fm.